there on Arrakis with me and Alex.
I really felt, the same feelings that I had when I watched the first one. It was amazing. I felt like I was there.
The movie was so loud, Alex, I missed a joke during our review that I wanted to say. Arrakis, more like a ruckus, because it was so loud.
Yes.
Right?
Boo.
I mean,
Boo.
well,
Arrakis. I damn near killed us.
That one's terrible. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the star-studded, that's us, Oscar show. Welcome to Autumn, we're on the wrong side. We didn't even fix this.
Yeah, there we go. That's crazy. There we go.
Welcome to the 2024 Fandom Social Oscar show. My name is Paul.
Yeah. I'm Autumn. Hi.
I think I'm Alex still.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm Daniel.
Thank you.
That was so smooth.
Nailed it. The Academy.
And what about the cats?
So proud. Oh, yes. Cats are here.
Yeah, the cats.
They have
the crowd is going wild.
What are they wearing? Who are they wearing? Who are they wearing? Over here, cat. Over here, cat.
Cat.
The death stares. I love it. Well, hello everyone, and welcome in to again the 2024 Fandom Social Oscar show. Today we're going to be covering the Oscars specifically from the lens of the 10 Best Picture nominees. How we're going to go through them is least nominations to most nominations. It's no surprise. You can look it up online, but what is going to be a surprise, and there's going to be some dissent. We have all
100% going to be
different levels. We don't know what we're ranking these movies at. So what we're going to do is we're going to reveal the movies 10 to 1, 10 being least nominations, 1 being most again. But as we do that, we are going to be revealing where it ranks on our personal favorite top 10. And boy,
howdy.
Just the preamble of this show, we've got some dissent. So, but before we do that, everyone, let's say hi. Hello, Laura.
Hi.
Looking lovely today. Who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? And then Steve, same question to you. How's it going? Welcome. Let us know on. Let me get a microphone. Steve, let us know about your next project.
Steve says they're wearing Thin on My Nerves.
You must be talking to my parents.
Always auditioning, Steve is.
Hey, Gagano, he came here. Don't cross him. He would have done well in like the 70s Oscars. Man, I'm going through a book on the history of the Oscars, and it was tumultuous. Pardon my language. Well, Tenchi, where's the opening skit with celebrity cameos and film parodies? You saw it. That was it.
Yeah,
I got Pazuzu from The Exorcist. There's a cameo.
Oh, hello, Pazuzu.
Yeah.
Very close to pizza, and I am hungry. I have not eaten so much. Laura, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Boom. Autumn, I've had this. What is that?
You've had that forever.
I've had this since we worked at the comic book store together.
You have. I remember it.
Do I have anything cool?
Yeah. This is the wand from Harry Potter.
I don't know what this is.
Nice.
All right.
Hey, speaking of fun movie props, Paul, did you go to Dune and did you get the bucket?
I did. Let me get it.
Okay, go grab that.
Oh my gosh.
Your
honestly,
whole outfit looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even tell everyone what I'm wearing. So rude of me.
Who are you wearing? Let's see.
This is Fubu Shanjan, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got these in a dumpster. These are
Crocs. Your legs in it.
Yeah, Crocs.
And these are Crocs my mom got me. So
those are amazing. You look fantastic. Yeah.
I do. I feel like Joan Cusack right now.
Yeah.
Like at the 98 Emmys looked great. I feel comfortable. I feel affordable.
That's your callback. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Big fan. Autumn, I'm loving this whole thing.
Thank you.
But how do you
find? It's a whole dress.
But how do you find like shoes to pull that together? That's a very odd.
You know what?
color.
It is tricky, but if you do have to find just the right. Like they're Skechers. Mine are by Skechers, and then the socks are important. Yeah, it's all about the accessories. Shoes make the outfit.
We are like the epitome of a Taco Bell drive-through. It's like The car in front of you, it's nice. The car behind you, it's a Subaru. It's a Subaru. Daniel, Alex, who are you guys wearing today?
I'm wearing Death Clock by Mark. I can't remember his name. He's a death metal artist. I'm wearing Death Clock. And I'm wearing Joggers by Blackcraft.
Nice.
Wow.
And I'm wearing Chair.
That's amazing.
All right, Daniel, bring us home.
Daniel.
Bring us home. I am wearing a Chic Designer DKeys t-shirt.
Did you get that at Target?
Sleek black pants and a removable frock.
Oh, Crocs are
Removable.
popular theme tonight. Yeah.
They are.
I'm wearing
Love it.
Puma socks.
Ooh,
That's how Alex feels on the inside, like a puma. All right. Well, we have got. We've had some laughs. We've had other things happen.
Other emotions.
Other emotions. Everyone, let's get to it. And again, if you're here, thank you guys for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We really, really appreciate it. If you guys haven't noticed, we're doing a lot more content. It is slowly killing us as far as time goes, but we are having an absolute blast doing it and having you guys interact with us on all of our channels, all over the movie reviews, the shorts. We have a new fun thing that we're going to announce, but that's later.
So excited.
That is later. And we have also some huge news about someone who kind of wants to get involved with our show. But we can't announce that quite yet. A lot of fun stuff happening. And again,
so much fun stuff happening.
all of you guys being here, helping us has just been incredible. And again, we appreciate you so much. So
you guys are.
I want to start
early adopters.
Very early adopters. You all have equal shares. Let's just say that.
Yes.
Oh God, that's going to come back to bite me in the ass in court later. Well, let's hope it's not a court like Anatomy of a Fall. All right, Autumn, Alex, Daniel, real quick. Daniel, we'll start with you. Are you watching the Oscars this year? Are you actually excited, or did you watch the Oscars because I forced all of you guys to do this because I wanted to do this show?
a bit of both. I've always wanted to. I never have. I've never sat down or taken the time to sit and watch each one. This is the first year I've seen all 10 Best Picture nominees.
Okay, Alex.
Yeah.
Am I watching what, the Oscars? Like the
Are you watching
award
the
ceremony?
Oscars? Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know when it is.
Oh, jeez. It's this. So for anyone wondering, it is this Sunday, the 96 Academy Awards. They're at the Dolby Theater at the Ovation Hollywood. It is at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. You can actually watch it on ABC.com. They're doing that this year. And the pre-show is on their YouTube.
Old school TV, like on a channel?
Cable, it's gross.
That's crazy.
I know.
What am I,
Netflix just did the SAG Awards. The SAG Awards, I think. And that was pretty sweet to be able to watch an award show on Netflix. I feel like that's going to be adopted very soon.
I think so too.
I did the SAD Awards all by myself the other night. It was just
winner every
Sad.
year. Sweeping
Every
the awards.
awards.
Oh, congrats on your award. All right, Adam, what about you? Are you watching? Like, are you? I know we've talked a little bit about this. Are you excited about this year's awards now, more so that you've seen some of the movies? Most of them.
Yes, I have to say the last few years I've fallen off of watching them, but for probably 2 decades I was very invested. I would, download the ballots and put my guesses in. I would host Oscar parties a lot or go to Oscar parties. I really loved it. But in the last, I say few years, it's really more like 10 years. I've just kind of not cared anymore. But this year, because you forced us to watch them all, I'm actually really invested and I'm looking forward to it. I've got my favorites I'm rooting for in terms of performances.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's
what about you, Paul?
Yeah. I'm excited. It goes without saying. I talk about movies constantly. I review movies, and I am just.
Are you more excited this year, or are you always excited about it?
I'm always pretty excited. I've been excited for the last 3 or 4 Oscars. Before that, I didn't really care. But
what about you guys
I
at
just.
Home?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, I was going to ask, what does everyone else at home think? Are you guys like Oscars people? I know people who only watch the Oscars and the Grammys, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I watch all of them, from the Gothams to the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, but that's just because I'm
waiting for the Razzies.
Oh, have you seen the video going around of Halle Berry accepting her Razzie for Catwoman?
No.
And then like the previous year, she had just won her Academy Award, and she brought her Academy Award up with her when she accepted her Razzie.
That's
Incredible.
love it.
Incredible. Find it. It is a national treasure. All right. Well, 10-minute mark. Let's get into the films. These are the 10 Oscar nominated films for Best Picture this year. We're going to go 10 through 1. It's not in any particular ranking. Again, for everyone, how we're going to be going through it is by least nominations, 10 to most nominations, number 1. So, Daniel, your clicking fingers ready?
Ready to go. We're following it. Ready to go.
All right. So, at number 10, with 2 nominations, is Past Lives, released on June 23rd, 2023, directed by Celine Song, written by Celine Song, and starring Greta Lee as Nora, Teo Yo as Hae Sung, and John Magaro as Arthur. It is nominated for Best Motion Picture. I'm going to just say that once because these are all nominated for Best Picture. But the other one is nominated for is Best Original Screenplay. And it has a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb and 94 out of 100 on Metacritic, which is by and far, I think, the highest so far as like just Metacritic goes. Autumn, I know you have another ranking system brought up.
Yeah, I do. It is number 2 on Rotten Tomatoes with a 95%.
95. Okay. All right. So we'll just open this up. And how I want to discuss all these films first, before we give our rankings, is we'll go. We'll start with you, Autumn. What did you like about this movie? Is this one that you had the opportunity to watch all the way through?
I'm going to let everybody know right up front that I watched 5 of the movie, well, 5.5 of the movies. And then I power watched the other 4 by using like YouTube breakdown, like full spoiler episode breakdowns, movie breakdowns and explanations. And so I didn't get to see every single one. This is one where I watched half. And it wasn't because I didn't enjoy it. I absolutely did enjoy it. I just wasn't able to finish it. So the half that I saw, I was enchanted. I loved it. So I really can't speak to how it did overall, but I did really like their performances. I can say that.
Okay. Alex?
I definitely like the opening 10 minutes. Good build up. I'm done. You can go to Daniel now.
Okay. Noted. Daniel.
Great show so far. We're killing it.
Listen,
the trailer was great.
Yeah.
I love this movie. This one was, this one ranks high on my list. I loved it. It was touching. It really was like sweet and emotional, very wholesome, heartbreaking in a way. I really enjoyed this one.
What's our number everybody would give?
Like 1 to 10 or
like 1 through 10? Yeah. Like
are we doing that
number
yet? Paul
1
didn't
being
even
your
get
favorite. Like, are we?
Paul didn't even get to give his opinion yet.
I've got a whole thing. I'll get to mine.
Well, I thought you had asked. I thought you, when you said, where does it rank for you, you literally meant the number.
Forget about you.
Yeah, so 10 being your least favorite of the Oscars pictures, 1 being your most favorite, 1 through 10. Where does this rank for you guys?
Hold on.
7.
Hey, can you bring it up? Can you bring? Sorry, I need someone to get it from all the way downstairs.
It was 7 for me.
7.
Wow. This was my number
literally
2.
dead last.
Number 2. Wow, that's high. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Paul.
Number 10. Number 9 for me.
Okay.
Number 9 for me. It's again the movies. So I've seen in the interest of full disclosure, to the opposite of Autumn's point, I've seen most of these twice, with the exception of Poor Things. And I talked extensively about a lot of these. Past Lives is a very beautiful, incredibly beautiful film that I felt was slow, but it was like methodically slow. Like it is on purpose. There are these films, and there's a lot of these films that are like this. And honestly, as you get through some of the Oscar history, a lot of these films are what are considered, and you guys are going to hear this word a lot just in the ether, Oscar bait. This is an Oscar baity film that are very quiet. They're very small. They're big panning landscapes. But I did think
a drag. I thought you were going to say they were a drag.
I'm
just messing with my buddy here. Like we're on the same level. I gotta.
I know, Dan. He's coming for you, Daniel. So Mr. Richard said is bad. He said he was literally trying to persuade her to leave her husband behind. Boot.
That's the part I liked about the movie. That's like my go-to thing.
Sowing some chaos.
Yeah,
that's
like
your go-to thing.
I am him. He is me. I am him.
Most of my friends are
him
married.
cook.
Most of my friends are married women. It's literally that's my goal, is to just make them all leave their husbands.
So did you take notes then?
Yeah, I did. Obviously, yeah. I don't want to spoil the movie.
You just bought like a Delta Plus card. You're like, I'm just flying to these places. I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna show up. Dwayne says, I despise Oscar bait movies and I will not watch them. I also have very particular feelings. I think I think there's a need for them as well, but we can get into it. But yeah, Past Lives is an interesting film. I don't unfortunately think that it's going to win Best Picture or Best Original Screenplay. It's up against titans in this category already. It's one of few, but the thing that I feel most promising, because I'm going to leave all of these movies on a positive note. It is a really, really good first outing for Celine Song. This is her first movie ever, and it's nominated for Best Picture, very similar to Greta Gerwig, her very first movie ever in The Woman. And oh yeah,
that was the first movie Oscar winner.
First movie ever. So Celine Song, one to look out for. Hopefully, she does a lot more work.
And I do have something positive to say about this movie. That it was an excellent depiction of a bunch of people that I don't want to hang out with, because they all just sit around and just talk really quietly like this and like stare at each other really quietly and just talk.
Really, that's Hollywood, baby.
So quiet. And I just, hey guys, okay, next.
Great. All right. Well, that is number 10. Now, jumping a bit here. We've got number 9 with 5 nominations. We have 3 that are at 5 nominations. I put these in no particular order. But we've got up next The Zone of Interest. It was released February 20th, 2024, overseas and at Sundance, and then released globally. Directed by Jonathan Glazer, written by Jonathan Glazer and Martin Amis, starring Christian Friedel as Rudolf Hess and Sandra Hüller as Hedrick Hess. It is nominated for obviously Best Motion Picture, Best Sound, Best International Film, Best Achievement in Directing, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It was adapted from a 2014 novel of the same name, a 92 out of 100 on Metacritic. Autumn, what is it on your aggregate there?
It is number 7, and it is 93%.
Oh, okay. And you're using Rotten, right?
Yes, using Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, most of these are over 90%, most of them.
Okay. So, Autumn, Alexander, did any of you watch this whole movie? I think some of you did.
I made beginnings in. Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I watched the whole
thing. Okay, let's start with this. What did you like about the movie?
Visually, it was stunning. The acting was incredible. The sound, I do think it had some great sound editing for what it was. I mean, obviously, I don't know if we could talk about spoilers because the movies have been out already, but whatever. But
we can say this is a spoiler movie
with a lot of a lot of the foreground versus what's going on in the background. That was very big. It was shot very well. The disparities between the foreground and what was happening behind the scenes that you couldn't see, it's really great. And it was emotionally devastating and very heavy. Especially I've got family history with this subject, so it gets. And I'm honestly, sometimes I'm tired of seeing it because I'm just like, okay, I just want one day where I wake up and I don't have to remember it. Just give me 5 minutes. But otherwise, it was really well done. So that's a lot of positive.
What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, no, this movie was one I really wasn't excited to get to just because of the heavy subject material, but I'm glad I did. It was really well done, really well made. What was it up for? Sound design for sure. I think it may be. I think it's got that Oppenheimer. I don't think. But no, it was great. Just really heavy subject material. Sandra Hüller was good in it.
So good.
She's the only actor that is in 2 Best Pictures.
Yeah.
Two. So she stars in 2. Yeah, this is her year. Sandra Hüller's got quite a bit coming up. Autumn, what about you? Is this one you got to watch the whole thing?
This one I did not get to watch it. I watched multiple episode breakdowns of it and looking at the cinematography and all the things that you guys described, like the starkness between the foreground and the background, noticing little things like that the watchtower is always visible throughout the window. it made me both want to and not want to watch it for all the same reasons that you guys have discussed. And I found myself getting emotional and upset even just watching the episode breakdown. So
Yeah.
I had to rank it based on that as an 8 out of my 10.
So 8 out of 10. What about for you
And I'm
two?
sure it would have been higher if I'd seen it.
For me, it's 6.
This is my 8.
Okay.
Number
What
2 for me.
Number 2.
Wow.
I should say so. I watched this in at the Vista Theater, which is the theater in Los Angeles that is owned by Quentin Tarantino now. And I had like a whole experience. I unfortunately dragged my girlfriend to this movie. It is not her movie. It's not her type of
Not a date night.
great, not a date night movie. But we were there, and she was actually like, "Oh, we should go do this thing," because and I'm glad I did because it was an incredible film. I like Jonathan Glazer. Personally, he does have that thing that he does at the beginning of movies where you're like,
Yeah. Okay.
dude,
Can I
I've seen
interject?
nothing for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I kept fast. I watched it at home. And I kept fast forwarding. I'm like,
Hitting the little arrow.
and I'm hitting it, and I'm hitting it, and I'm hitting it, and it's just still going. It was 4 minutes and 10 seconds before the black screen went away. I was like, what is going on? And I know there was sound that I should have been paying attention to, but I was like, I can't just stare at a black screen for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes.
And it's funny. I mean, this movie is so, I feel, one of the most in the top 3 of most polarizing films this year. It's very similar to like when Schindler's List came out, and people are like, okay, this is like culture bait, it's like torture bait, and it's these things
like torture
that
porn, they call
have
it.
you ever
exactly
seen,
I was trying to avoid that word, but yes.
No,
have you ever seen,
that is what it is.
have you ever seen Extras, that show by Ricky Gervais?
Yeah.
And he's talking to Kate Winslet. But he's talking to Kate Winslet, and he's one of the extras, and she's like, "Yeah. You just do a Holocaust movie. You'll get an award."
Yeah.
So
that's definitely Oscar bait. Like,
it's like Holocaust
movies,
and World War II.
Disabilities, portraying an actor portraying somebody with a disability. Oscar bait.
Yeah. And so I felt with this film, it did a little bit of the antithesis of like these big Hollywood movies we've had. Very quiet. Jonathan Glazer had mentioned from himself that it's like the mundanity of evil.
It's actually I think it was, I don't remember if it was Elie Wiesel who called, I forget who it was, it may have been Elie Wiesel, who calls it the banality of evil.
Banality, thank you. Yes.
Because you expect all these, I may be misquoting who it was from, but it's all these people who are like, you think like villain, I'm gonna sit here, but like no, like he talked about it like, for generations, where he was like, this is something that you picture evil to be this big bad, and it's just a person going to work, goes back home, kisses his kids goodnight, goes to sleep, and it's like, so banal.
It is a movie that I feel, and I hate using this word because I'm not a director, I'm not a writer or anything, but like from a layman's point of view, it is like a masterclass in subtlety. Just the way that it was filmed, Jonathan Glazer just set up cameras and just had them rolling he would call action, and he said like, your lines don't start for 15 minutes. They're like, well, what do we do for 15 minutes?
You know what it reminds us of, Paul? Jean Dillman.
Oh, Jean Dillman. Yeah. But again, like a divisive film that for some people it's incredibly important, and other people they're like, get this over with. I'm tired.
Here we go. Hold on, I got but actually. Hannah Arendt. Okay, so there you go.
Hannah Arendt. Thank you. That's what you guys are here for.
Always auditioning.
It is, as Richard said, the subtle details, the effort in normalizing what was just feet away from them, very heavy, an incredibly heavy film. Nominated for quite a bit.
There was this one shot. This one with the train.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God.
The train slowly crosses. Oh, that hurt me. That was haunting, some very subtle details like that, just very small in frame.
But not only just that, like just conversations where like the mother was like, "Oh, I used to clean her house. Oh, but look at this like nice dish that I just got, from her." Like, oh man, it's just like so, and it's just so like blasé.
Trying on the coats, and she's like, she's worried about looking fat in it, and she's just like, it's just a movie that is chilling and it sucks you into the banality of it, Alex, like you were saying, well, as Hannah Arnett had said. And then once you're like, oh, this is right outside of a concentration camp, and it's horrifying. Again, a beautiful film that I would it's hard for me to like recommend these movies because my palate is very different, or my tolerance for these movies is very different. But if you do want to watch this,
you're cold and dead inside. Yeah.
No, well, I'm actually very warm and dead inside.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a family film, really. You know, like
it is not.
But
it's about a family.
It's true. It is about a family. But the thing that's harder to watch about it, it's actually harder to watch than Schindler's List, like a movie like Schindler's List, because Schindler's List is in your face, forward-facing violence. Everything is just on the table, and this is just like it's there. It's almost like a creeping, creepy thing, like Michael Myers hiding in your closet. Like it's there, but you don't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Schindler's List was one that I watched and I loved, and I will never watch it again. Never.
I feel that way with Zone of Interest. I said that and I watched it again, but it's not something that I like. I even recommend to people. We're saying this now, but I don't recommend. I'm not like, yeah, you got to go out and watch it.
It's fun.
Okay, so that is our number 9 at 5 nominations. Now sitting at number 8, a very different film with also 5 nominations is The Holdovers. This is a film that was released November 10th, 2023, directed by Alexander Payne, written by David Hemmingson, starring Paul Giamatti as Paul Hunman, Divine Joy Randolph as Mary Lamb, and Dominic Sessa is his feature debut as Angus Tully. It is nominated for Best Picture, Best Performance by an Actor, Paul Giamatti, Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role, Divine Joy Randolph, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Achievement in Film Editing. And it's got an 82 out of 100 on Metacritic. What did everyone think about this film? Is this one that you guys all? Oh yes, on your aggregate.
Rotten Tomatoes. This was number 1 on Rotten Tomatoes. It got 97%.
Yeah, this is
2% over Past Lives. Number 2.
I'll get into it, but what did you guys think about this film? What did you like about this? If you had the chance to watch.
Who are we starting with?
I'll start. I did watch it. It was the first one I watched, and I really, really loved it. I thought it was quiet, but it was really well. I mean, they all tore it up. I mean, everybody tore it up, their performances. Yeah. No crumbs left, I believe is the term. And,
I believe so. Correct.
Yeah. I just thought it was really beautiful. It is, but it's number 4 on my list. Number 4. But I really loved it, beginning to end.
What about you, Alex?
I really, really, really liked it. I watched it. It was the most recent one I watched. It was The Autumn's First was my last. It's the most recent one I watched. I really did like it. I thought the characters were fun and emotional. Like I like when you can mix it up a little bit without being like we always say, like Marvel-ized about it, like where you can have a little humor, but also like that emotional depth. So I thought that was good. I thought all the characters were really well fleshed out, and a lot of good moments, and a lot of me just wanting to punch teenagers in the face.
Yes.
So, yeah, there is tons of that. Where did this rank for you, Alex?
Well, that's the problem, is that there were so many really good movies, and like I didn't want to rank it so low, but I have it right below the Zone of Interest.
So is that 5?
I think it's fair to say these are all great movies,
7.
And so being number 9 or 10 doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, mind you, of the 221 films that are that are eligible, it's number 9 or 10. Like that's incredible.
Right.
These are these are all the best films of the year.
For me, it was 7
for you.
And it could have been 6 or 7. Like both, like this and Zone of Interest were like.
What gut instinct put it there over the other one? Like, if you just have to, in your gut, why 7?
Again, it's just the way that Zone of Interest was filmed, just the method of it, and the sound editing, the weird other scenes with the inversion, like all that inverted, like all that, like all these little. I can't explain it. I can't describe what I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean. The way it was filmed. What about you, Daniel? Take it away. I'm talking too much.
So 4, 7.
So for this one, we started it. My laptop died about halfway through, and let me tell you, it felt like a gift from the universe.
You did.
I was not vibing with this one. on my first watch through. I went back and I
Yeah.
did end up enjoying it.
Yeah.
But
It
it was
slowly
that
get-
first half.
Great.
It just killed me.
Yeah. I was kind of bored the first bit of it because I didn't care what happened to any of them. I didn't particularly like any of them.
I wasn't
but then
invested.
later. Yeah. But then later, at the end, I really was happy I had seen it and loved it. So
Yeah.
I get you completely. Completely.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know the answer to this. Like,
Oh yeah,
does
I don't
anyone
know.
the casting
I don't
couch?
know that.
I
Yeah, because
wanna
this
know
is
that. I'm
Dom.
gonna find that out.
Do we have an image, Daniel, of Dominic Sessa?
I do, yeah.
He plays Angus. He plays Angus
He
in
looks
this.
like he
yeah.
stepped right out of that time zone, too. Like,
Right out of
amazing.
high school too. Like
Yeah.
And he looks kind of like Angus Young, like from AC/DC. He's got that
Yeah, a
vibe
little
going
bit.
to the private school.
Yeah.
but I'm curious. I don't know the casting story for that. But this
Alexis is
movie.
going to type it out for us.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh, in the meantime, Tenchi says, "Are these the best 10 films? Or are they just the 10 best PR campaigned film?" That's true. Did
Bingo.
the other ones get the attention that they deserved and people watched them to vote on them, or did they just not
If
have
you-
as good PR?
If you go to any A24 post about one of their Oscar-nominated films, there people are losing their minds that A24 did not campaign harder for the Iron Claw.
Iron Claw?
People are
Yeah.
losing it that they didn't campaign harder, but I guess like they had to
Pick.
choose. And they,
It's a lot of money to invest in campaigning.
then they asked Kate Winslet what she thought, and she said, "Zone of interest."
Always go.
Always. Oh God.
Always.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're anytime you say best anything, it's subjective.
Yeah.
There's no best of anything because it's different to everyone. Clearly, just from the rankings on this show.
Right.
Also, remember the entire Academy. So there's like 10,000 people in the Academy. If you guys aren't familiar with how the voting works, 10,000 folks in the Academy. Then there's different segments. I think there's now like 18 like individual segments, but
They
the main
segment
five
off, yeah.
are like directing, writing, acting, technical work, and then a fifth one that I can't remember, and production. So essentially, actors nominate and vote on actors and so on and so forth, but everyone gets to vote for Best Picture. So like, I mean, this is the consensus of like 10,000 people in the industry. And again, there's a lot of palm greasing that goes on. It's just the way that the industry works.
Yeah.
But
Palme d'Or?
Yeah.
oh no.
No.
Palme d'Or and the Palme d'Or winner.
Yeah. Nice. Well done. For me, also, this ranked number 3.
Okay.
For sure.
I watched this, of course, like when it came out in November, and it was like, since it's like a winter film, and I watched it, and I'm here in Dallas, and it was cold. It was like 20 degrees, and it was raining, and I was like, oh, it was perfect. Just the way that it was filmed, I was just all in on this whole movie from the jump.
Yeah.
But it's still number 3, but I did love this movie.
That's my number 3 too.
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Well, we've got again like 7 other movies.
We've got the story. We've got the story.
Okay.
And there's gonna be parts. So we'll start this part 1 and then we'll come back to part 2. Go ahead.
Part 1. So the director essentially said that they were taking their time trying to cast Angus. They weren't too concerned until time started to dwindle down and they were pressed. I'm assuming mean
Stay
pressed for time.
tuned for part 2.
No, like a panini. They were in a panini.
I was thinking much like a carrot, but maybe not carrot.
Subscribe for part 2.
Part 2 will tell us exactly what kind of press they
comment,
were.
subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll get part 2.
It was right there, Alex. Press the notification bell. It was right there in front of you.
Damn.
Okay, so we can move on
Next.
to number 7, again, with 5 nominations. Anatomy of a Fall. Released March 22nd, 2024, directed by Justine Triet, written by Justine Triet and Arthur Harari, starring Sandra Hüller as Sandra Voiter, Swan, guys, be patient with me on these names, please. Swan Arlott as Maitre Vincent Renzi, he's the lawyer.
Maitre Vincent Renzi.
Okay. Milo Machado Garner as Daniel. He was the kid in that.
God, that's
Samuel
a terrible
Cleese
way to say that name.
Blind.
as Samuel Thesis as Samuel Maliski. He's the husband in this, and Antoine Reinhardt as the general's advocate, also known as the prosecutor. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Achievement in Directing, Best Performance by an Actress, Sandra Hüller, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Achievement in Film Editing. And it's sitting at an 86 out of 10 on Metacritic. Another very divisive film. I think probably one of the most in this entire category. Second most. What'd you guys think of this one?
First, Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, Rotten Tomatoes, right.
Rotten Tomatoes, yep. Number 3 on Rotten Tomatoes list. And it
Whoa,
was
that's high.
96%.
I'm honestly shocked.
Yeah.
I am as well.
96%.
That is surprising. Okay, Autumn, what did you think of this one?
I thought that the trailers and the breakdown looked really interesting and maybe like a movie I might want to watch.
One day.
I put it as number 9.
Number 9, okay.
And breakdown was higher than a different movie's trailer and breakdown I watched.
Daniel, what about you? Because we're gonna save Alex for last.
I love this movie. This is very high on my list. Sandra Hüller, 8 in this role.
Okay.
She was incredible. But so the whole cast did. The lawyer, the squadron of lawyers that were in there. Everyone was incredible. Daniel, with child actors, sometimes you feel like they may kind of bring the weight of the movie down a bit, but he killed it.
Yeah. Snoop the dog.
Snoop the dog. I'm gonna leave Alex to comment on the music choices in this.
Bring it home, Alex.
Daniel, where did this rank for you?
It's my number 1, baby.
Number 1. Wow.
Number 1 with a bullet.
Of all these films, this was my favorite. Genuinely.
Wow.
Number 1 with not number 1 with a bullet. Number 1 with a fall, a deadly
fall.
And Daniel,
you're already talking. Just tell us what you thought about the movie.
Daniel, I cannot fault that opinion whatsoever. I agree with every single thing about the acting, the writing, Okay, now there's this one song in the film that is, I mean, come on, you have to admit it's horrendous. I mean, it's a plot point in the film about how horrendous the song is, right? But I really feel that everyone really brought it and killed it in this movie. Hey, killed it in this movie. It really gave me insight, and I'm just hoping to find out if this is what the French legal and justice system is like, because I was losing my mind. I was live tweeting how angry these people are making me to the rest of them. I was like, I hate these people. I want to punch them all in the face. Antoine Reinhardt as Avocat General or whatever. I want to find him and I want to go to his house and I want to be like, never act again because I hated you so much. He
was probably my my most memorable character because I hated him.
Right.
What was your number, Alex? I forget. Did you say
5.
it already? 5. Okay.
5. So it sat right in the middle for you.
And again, I didn't want to have any ties because it could have went higher. It could have went way higher because I agree with Dan. It was so much good about that movie. But the anger that I felt, I'm like, stop making me angry. I want to feel better.
Mr. Richard said, the song choice threw me off. I thought the neighbors were playing music until I realized it was coming from the film.
Hearing that song, I was like, he deserves it. Just kill this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just on the song
frustrating. Fun fact that I just learned today randomly before the show was that it was originally supposed to be Jolene by Dolly Parton, but they couldn't get it licensed. So Justine Triet was like playing that song in as a placeholder for that part. And it just it put everyone on edge and they hated it. And so when the sound director and I believe some of the ADs, the assistant directors were talking about the film, they're like, just play that GD song.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's the energy that we need. And Sandra Hüller channeled that.
Yeah.
And they're like, leave that song. And it's also because they couldn't get Dolly Parton's music.
But seriously, I'm surprised they didn't kill, Justin Triet over the song. It was so horrible. And to hear it so many times. But again,
in reggae.
Yeah,
it is a reggae version of PIMP by 50 Cent. By the way, if you guys haven't seen it, look it up and just know that when I watched it in theaters, it's like a reggae version, and you're just hearing the the
Steel
silver
Steel
drums, the steel drums just hitting. It's so loud and obnoxious, but it's part of the film. It's doing that on purpose, and it is a huge pain in the ass. For me,
where did it rank for you?
5 as well. Was that who else was 5? Was that you, Alex?
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sat at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say something? It's by a German funk group.
Interesting.
That makes it even worse.
Not a sentence I thought we'd say on Fandom Social ever.
Makes it even worse. It is the worst.
Well,
Sorry.
Before we move on to the next movie, we do have part 2, 3, and 4.
And 5.
Exciting.
Nice. So to remind everyone, part 1 about Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers being his first movie. Part 2, the director decided to cast a wide net and allow high school auditions with drama classes at some of the sets they were planning to shoot at. Dominic was a high school senior at Deerfield Academy boarding school. The students thought the casting directors were offering students to audition for a background role. Director said that they struck gold and found Dominic. The end. Part 5, also his first audition ever. And I want to say
amazing.
That is great. I mean, it's one of the biggest movies, and you can kind of tell, like, if you guys watch any of the press he's been doing, he is very uncomfortable.
Did he get nominated for anything?
No, he didn't.
No,
not in the Oscars. He was nominated for like Best Emerging Artist in the Globes and some other stuff.
That's amazing.
Nothing there.
By the way,
good for him. Thanks, Alexis.
I'm not done. Thank you, Alexis. I'm not done complaining about this band. The Bacau, they're a German band, the Bacau Rhythm and Steel Band, doing a 50 Cent song. This is them.
You got that fast.
Every single one of these people should be thrown off. Just
punch him in the throat, Alex.
They all look like the barristers.
Yeah.
They all look like they're background actors in this scene.
Yeah.
They all deserve to be falled.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Sorry. Jeez. Anyways. I'm just
kicking over. That was Anatomy of a Fall, our 7th movie. Now, number 6 is, let me scroll down. There we go. American Fiction. This was released December 22nd, 2023. It just made the cut to be nominated for this year's Oscars, directed by Cord Jefferson, written by Cord Jefferson and Percival Everett, starring Jeffrey Wright as Thelonious Monk, Tracy Ellis Ross as Lisa Ellison, Erica Alexander as Coraline, Issa Rae as Sinatra Golden, and Sterling K. Brown as Clifford Ellison, nominated for Best Picture, Best Original Score, Best Performance by an Actor, Jeffrey Wright, Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role, Sterling K. Brown, and Best Adapted Screenplay, sitting at 81 out of 100 on Metacritic, and it is adapted from a book called Erasure by Percival Everett. Autumn, where is this on Rotten Tomatoes?
Number 4 on Rotten Tomatoes with 93%.
Pretty
high score still.
Pretty high score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another... So not to be too behind the curtain, but we all have a group chat and we talk and we discuss, things. And someone here had a very staunch opinion on this film. So Daniel, let's start with you. How did you feel about this movie?
This movie felt like a Medea movie. I hated this film. It wasn't terrible. Jeffrey Wright was great in it. It was bloated. There was 56 storylines. Everyone had a subplot. Too much going on. Jeffrey Wright was great. Sterling K. Brown was phenomenal, but yeah, as a whole, not doing it for me.
I have never disagreed with you more on anything, and I've known you for 30 years.
Yeah.
I have never disagreed with you more on anything, and I've known you for 30 weeks.
Mr. Richardland said, great casting. Writing was just choppy, stage play vibes. No resolution is what he said. Okay. Where did this rank for you, Daniel? Number 10?
No, for me, this was 7.
Oh, it's not even 10?
It's not 10, no.
Wow.
Wait, I hated a bunch of them.
Have we already discussed what your number 10 was?
No, we haven't yet.
Okay. So we won't get to that. Alex, what did you think?
I thought not only was it hilarious, there was a lot of heart. I thought the writing was really good. I did like what Mr. Richardian said about the Richard Lindson's with the no resolution. I loved the no resolution. That was like my favorite part. I like a good like Total Recall ending, but like this wasn't a Total Recall ending. But I thought it was again, I thought it was a lot of heart, a good message, and not just like the forefront message, like the backhand, like it went a little back and forth. Where it was like, where he's like, "This is my message," and she's like, "Well, this is my message," and I'm like, "Oh man," she showed him, and he showed, "Oh man," so everyone was showing each other something, and then you just felt like.
The worst explanation for this movie I've ever heard.
I don't want to give anything away for the people who want to see
We said
it.
we can spoil these films.
You can spoil it.
Well, he has his POV about the specific writer who he thinks is like sort of like dumbing down his experience, and I love Issa Rae, and I loved how he framed the experience of like, because right now, like I'm involved in a lot of what's going on, like in the Middle East. Like a lot of people from the Middle East are like, stop speaking for what you want us to feel. Like, don't tell us people in the Middle East how we're supposed to feel about all these different Middle Eastern issues. And so he's like, stop all, you know, you get the white people going like, that's not black enough. And he's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? And so like, but then the Issa Rae coming back at him about his like critique, I was like that, you know, for me, I was like,
potential
and I'm like, yeah, you know, it's like, for me, I'm like, you know, I'm a very heated, opinionated person. And I love when someone can come in like, by the way, relax. And I love that. So seeing something like that happen in the movie. So that's the explanation I'm giving. Because it was you were right. It was a really bad explanation, but a lot of heart.
What's your number? I'm
not telling you. You have to guess. I am the Rotten Tomato of this group. It was my number 4.
Number 4.
Okay. What about you, Autumn?
I've always thought you were the Rotten Tomato.
We called it. No one's surprised.
No shock here. This was the top of all the movies I didn't see. I'm really upset that I didn't get a chance to see it after watching the breakdown. It made me want to watch another one. And
that is
a
sentence that historians will research for years. They're like, that just confused all of ChatGPT.
Yes.
Wait, what?
I gave it a 6 above all the ones I didn't see. Because I really am bummed I haven't seen it, and it made me, the breakdown I watched made me want to watch another breakdown and another one. And I'm gonna go watch this weekend. Like, I cannot wait to watch it. So I gave it a 6 just because I loved what I found out about it.
Okay, so it's 6 out of the 10 for you. Where did I rank this?
I don't know. We can't tell you. Me and Daniel. I don't know, man.
Also number 6.
You are not vibing.
Number 6 for you?
We're not going to the.
So you have seen all the movies, and you still.
So still number 6 for me. It is funny, Autumn. What we're witnessing is like, you know, when you bring all your friends together in a group, and you know, some of them are your work friends and your childhood friends, and they're just like, you leave 2 of them together, and they're just not getting along. It's like 1 and 2. That's what's happening down here.
But I feel like we'd still vibe if we hung out. We just can't watch movies again. Me and my bestie Isabel, we do not agree on any movies. Like, we're always fighting about movies. Like, let's just, Dune, we enjoyed Dune together, but like other than that, like, we can't talk about movies half the time.
And I think me, Alex, me and you tend to have similar opinions. Autumn, we can be a little different sometimes.
Sure.
I don't know what the hell happens with Daniel. I just don't talk to him. Not anymore. Not after your American fiction review calling it a Medea film.
Seriously.
See,
please don't spoil. Please don't spoil. Oh my god. Wait, this
and
she says the message was pretty important, but not as important as the message in Origin. I loved Origin. I think it'll probably make an Oscar run for 2025. I think it just missed the window because it has to be in like. I think, you know, one of like the minimum requirements is it's got to be in like wide release for like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, and it didn't get it. But yeah, American Fiction is like the sugar that makes the medicine go down, because Origin is these messages in this movie, but it's like hitting you over the head with it. It's a beautiful film.
Can you please look at Dwayne and Steve in the chat?
I don't want to give them I don't want to give them the time of day, but all right, fine. All right, so Dwayne says, please don't spoil Oppenheimer. I still don't know if they actually finished the bomb. To which Steve Nara replies, it's getting lots of glowing reviews, so I managed it from the radiation after the bomb. Galgano, take out the trash, Galgano. Get them out of here.
I'm going to scream. I'm done. I'm done with that.
Where is our bouncer?
Yes. These awards are shoddy. This guy's sleeping on the job, not doing his freaking job. What movie are we talking about?
We just finished American Fiction.
American Fiction. Okay, a great film. I think everyone of all of these, like, I think like this one, The Holdovers, they've got very similar not cadences, but like it's easier to watch these than like Zone of Interest. you know.
Mhm.
So Autumn, curious to
Vibes.
see what you think of not the same vibe like at all, but they are easier to watch. So okay, moving right along to we're now out of the 5 nominations category.
Okay.
We're moving in to number 5, which
Number
is
5.
Maestro. Released December 20th, 2023. This one went straight to Netflix. Directed by Bradley Cooper, written by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer, starring Bradley Cooper as Leonard Bernstein, Carey Mulligan as Felicia Montalegre, and Matt Bomer as David Oppenheim.
Wait, Leonard who?
What? Bernstein?
Oh my
Bernstein?
God, it's an art. Yeah, Bernstein. And Leonard Bernstein. It's the end of the world as we know it. He even listens to it in the movie.
Oh yeah, that's true. He does. Leonard
Bernstein.
Bernstein.
Thank you.
Nominated for Best Picture, Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Sound, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Carey Mulligan, and Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role, Bradley Cooper. It's got a 77 out of 100 on Metacritic. What is it on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's number 10 out of these 10 with 79, the only one that was under 80. So 79%. So definitely not everybody was a fan.
Okay. Autumn, let's I know you
Okay. I watched this.
You watched this one, right? What did you think of this one?
Okay, it was way up at the top for me, and it only got bumped to number 3 just because of some other movies that I really loved. But I was here for this movie. I loved it. I thought they both tore it up really hard. I thought they both devoured their roles. And I'm noticing like Bradley Cooper is taking on these roles where he is, you know, completely immersed in it. Like when he did the Lady Gaga movie.
Star is Born?
Star is Born, like completely transformed into this other character. This one, he's completely transformed. And I feel like, you know, for somebody who's got this like classic Hollywood face, for him to not use the moneymaker to get his roles, I thought is
right.
or he's directing himself in these. So when he's directing himself, he's choosing to not take advantage of his moneymaker, which I think is interesting. So
you are on fire with these sentences tonight.
I know. Thank you. I'm trying to get some sound bites for you guys.
Yeah.
But
Alex,
I really enjoyed it.
No, go to Daniel.
So you said
first.
3? You said this is ranked 3
for
you.
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
Daniel.
So this is the only one that like I did not watch. So this is my default last on the list. But from the half-ish that I saw, it was pretty good. I was enjoying it. Yeah, like you said, everyone just kind of like fell into their roles. But yeah, I never finished it, and I never felt like compelled to go back and finish it. So I feel like that may speak to my experience with it as a whole.
Okay, so 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Not the 10 out of 10 you want. All right, Alex, you're up.
Alex.
All right, so listen. Best achievement in makeup and hairstyling? I'm into it. Best performance by an actress? I could see that. Best performance by an actor? 100%. Best film? Oof. It was another one where it's just like, I'm just watching boring people mumble like for 2 hours. Because that's how, I mean.
I was so entranced.
I was entranced, like trying not to fall asleep as he's like, "Hey, I'm a little birth. I'm talking like this, and I'm just gonna."
Is that Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah, that's what he sounded like to me. He was just mumbling.
He is nasally, and
he's just nasally.
He
He'd smoke a cigarette and just be like, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Just get on with the story. What are you saying? Move it on." I mean, and he's a New
Wrap it up,
Yorker.
Shakespeare. Yeah,
he's a New Yorker. I'm like, come on, man, spit it out. So for me, it was, but it was.
But
still
don't you
number
think
7.
he was being the character
Again?
the person?
Best actor.
Sure.
He nailed it. She nailed it. The makeup was amazing.
But you're saying you didn't enjoy it.
The whole package. I was like, oh my God, I'd rather it's not a story I want to know. I don't care about the story. I'm sorry. Your story's boring.
Yeah. Okay.
If I told you a boring story, would you want to see a movie made of it?
I didn't think the story was boring. I thought it was really nuanced and interesting, and it had me hooked the whole time.
Where did this rank for you, Alex?
I said 7.
Oh, you said 7.
Still not bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
Past lives is still somewhere in the crawl space.
So I'll start with my ranking. It is 10 out of.
Okay, because I bet you hated it. it.
No. I love these films. Like, these are my type of films. I thought that it was pretty telling that this is one of the only Best Picture noms of we're in the bottom 5, right? Of most nominations. It's the only one not nominated for Best Screenplay for a reason. and it's because I felt like the screenplay it dragged a bunch. I felt like the actors, like how you can tell if a film is good is like if you replace a different actor, right? Would it still be delivered the same way? Would it still be effective? And it wouldn't be. Like Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan are engaging. I do think like if I had to, I would take exactly as actors. I would take I would replace Carey Mulligan with Margot Robbie as best actress. Like I would do that in a second because I thought.
What about Rodney Dangerfield instead of
Bradley Cooper?
Well, he doesn't get no respect.
I did enjoy Bradley Cooper in this film a lot.
I
was like,
Tenchi said it was like trying to add a dramatic frosting to what was basically a documentary on the History Channel or A&E.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think that they didn't do a really good job of telling you who Leonard Bernstein is. They gave you, like you said, Autumn, and I agree, it's very nuanced film. There are things that, like when I watched it again, I didn't notice. And just the way that Bradley Cooper like embodied that role, especially, I don't know if you guys read into it, but that scene, that spoiler alert, but he does at the church, right? That he conducts at the church. He live orchestrated that. One take. That is a real orchestra. Bradley Cooper is not a maestro. Not at all. He trained. He's been obsessed with him. That is incredible. He deserves the nomination for that alone.
I agree on his acting.
Yeah, totally. I think we're aligned there. But the film itself, I was like, it kind of dragged for me. Like the story jumped, and it didn't do a good job of like telling certain parts of Bernstein's life that I felt would have added more character to him. But again, still deserves, I think, to be in Best Picture nom because of what he was like allowed to do physically with the role. But I still liked it, but it is my least favorite of all of the other 10 best films.
I totally forgot to send you guys. Remember how I've been sending you guys clips of these movies that are very interesting to me? I did one of Maestro. I was like, what is happening in this scene? And I cropped it. And I forgot to send it to you. So I'll post it in the group.
There you go.
What group is that, you ask?
Fandom Socialites.
Fandom Socialites
is the group. Daniel.
Fandom Socialites. What's the name of our group again?
Fandom Socialites.
There it
Maybe
is.
I'll post it in there because let me tell you, there was a scene in that church. I was like, what is happening?
You know, Alex.
Continue. Sorry. That was my number 7.
Alex, I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, right?
All right. Well, that was Maestro. We are moving into our top 4. This is our Oscar show. So let's, if you guys are just joining us, welcome. Hello. Let us know. I'm curious of like what of these films you guys have watched. I know that you guys are, there's a lot of people here who have seen maybe just some of like the bigger box office films. I know Tenchi, we talk films sometimes. I know you've seen a lot of these. I'm curious what you guys think of these. Dwayne says, I think this film was pure Oscar bait. This is the film that is getting that tag put on it the most.
When someone dies from an illness, that's going to be on the list also.
Yeah.
A long, dramatic, emotional reaction death. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Richard watched all of them. Okay. Well, then let's see what everyone thinks about number 4. The most indie, I think, of our films. Didn't get a wide release. Number 4 is Barbie with 8 nominations. Released July 21st, 2023, directed by Greta Gerwig, written by Greta Gerwig and her partner, Noah Baumbach.
Nice.
Starring Margot Robbie as Barbie, Ryan Gosling as Ken, and America Ferrera as Gloria. It is nominated for Best Picture of the Year, Best Achievement in Music for the song I'm Just Ken, Best Achievement in Music for the original song What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell. Best Performance by an Actress, America Ferrera, in a supporting role by America Ferrera. Best Performance by an Actor in a supporting role, Ryan Gosling. Best Adapted Screenplay, we'll come back to that. And Best Achievement in Production Design. I want to shout out the production designers because they are amazing. Sarah Greenwood, who's the actual production designer, and Katie Spencer, who's the set decorator. And then lastly, Best Achievement in Costume Design by Jacqueline Duran is sitting at an 80 out of 100 on Metacritic. Before I get into my note, Autumn, where is this sitting on the Rotten Tomatoes aggregate?
This is number 9 at 88%, which
Whoa.
there were talks of this being review bombed by a bunch of people who didn't appreciate the message. So I wonder what the actual consensus is, but it's sitting, even with that, it's still sat at 88%, number 9.
Do you know what I think should also be nominated for Best Picture? Is Ben Shapiro's 45-minute rant about
his rant on it.
His 45-minute rant. I think that should have been nominated for Best Documentary of a person losing their mind over a doll.
Here at Fandom Social, we will never push you to Ben Shapiro ever again, but that is worth the laugh. It is worth the laugh.
Just watch it on someone else's channel. Don't give them the views, but watch it somewhere else.
Pirate
watch a recap of it.
It is a beautiful.
Yeah, we should have recapped it.
And just like and the comments are what make it even better.
Just
all the people, just
lack of self-awareness. To Autumn, to your point about it being review bombed on IMDb, which I use for like a user aggregate to see what people reviewed it. It is a 6.9 out of 10. With 509,000 reviews, still at 6.9 at 506,000. That is insane. One of the more interesting parts about this that I truly don't agree with is that it's nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay instead of like original.
From what?
And it is. They had said it's adapted from original IP and the countless Barbie stories and movies and all the other stuff that have come out.
You're saying, like the overall IP genre that has been built for years. Yeah, I mean, lore.
This is definitely an adaptation of Barbie Princess Castle from 1998.
Yeah, Barbie as Rapunzel or Barbie Mariposa. Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
Wow.
But it was, it's pretty clear, but it wanted to be in the adapted screenplay because the original screenplay nominations are Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, and Past Lives. Like, it doesn't have a chance in that one either.
Yeah.
No.
So I think Barbie will get a few nominations. I mean, it will get a few wins. I think it's got song locked in for,
100%.
for one of them. It's basically the entirety of the category. It's 2 of the 5.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think? Do you think the Academy will take a left turn and do "I'm Just Ken," or does "What Was I Made For" kind of got it locked?
What was I made for? It's got it locked.
It has to. It needs to.
Because "I'm Just Ken" is amazing. It's amazing, but
do you want to know what it's? You want to know what it's up against? So here is what Was I Made For is what it's up against. The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot, which is the Hot Cheetah movie that came out, I believe, on Netflix or Hulu.
It's offensive that they're in the same category, but okay.
It is. I'm Just Ken. It never went away from American Symphony, which it's fine, but that's probably one of the better parts of that movie. And then Wahazewe, which is a song for my people from Killers of the Flower Moon. So I think as far as commercial appeal and as far as like what's going to appeal to the whole Academy, I think What Was I Made For has it locked. You can lock that in.
No, I'm Just Ken could come in just because of the same reason why it won the Golden Globe. Or
he's performing it.
That's the thing is performing it. I'll allow him to perform. I'm going to call them up.
Was it?
I don't know.
It wasn't Golden Globes. It was.
Oh.
It was
he won at the
it
Kids' Choice Awards.
No, I think he did win a Golden Globe for it.
Was it Golden Globe?
Yeah, because
I remember another award show recently where it won, and it was like, "Are you kidding? Why?"
Oh, didn't he win a Grammy?
Grammy.
You won a Grammy for that song.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was
that was his face of like,
like
he was like shocked and surprised.
Just.
Oh well, we didn't even.
Okay.
Autumn.
No.
Where is this ranked for you?
Okay. This was number 1 for a long time. I mean, it was always like, I love it. I bought it so I could watch it again and again. And then something bumped it down to number 2, which I didn't think was going to happen.
Oh,
but,
interesting.
I absolutely love this movie. I want to shout out to the costume design because I think there's never, I'm going to say, I don't know if there's ever been a movie that calls out its costume design in this way when they would fling the outfits and they would freeze in the air. And it would look like when it was on the card, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just have to say this was I watched it again, and it's just got, I think it's all been said. It has just an amazing message, and it was delivered so beautifully with so much heart and so much comedy and so much just joy.
Mm-hmm.
I did not care for Will Ferrell in this film. I think he was over the
Superfluous.
top and kind of playing the same character he always does. So I didn't like that, but it didn't matter. The rest of it made up for it. The two leads just killed. So
Yeah.
I loved it.
Okay, so it's sitting at number
number
two
two.
for you.
Mhm.
Alex, what about you?
So for me, it is also sitting at number 2. Different reasons than Autumn. I can already guess Autumn's favorite. Autumn's number 1. But for all the reasons, music, message, again, the use of the word superfluous and Will Ferrell being superfluous in the movie. Just
Production
every
design?
layer
Yeah.
of this movie, production design, costume design. I think it should sweep a lot of these awards, even if it doesn't win Best
All
Picture.
the
It should
the
sweep
technical awards.
the technical awards, the song. I mean, what was I made for? Is like
It's beautiful.
I feel like it broke
Beautiful.
everybody. Like it broke Greta. It broke literally everybody.
Yeah.
Haunting.
And so I don't know. It was number 2 for me. It's one of the greatest. I've seen it out of all of these. I've seen it the most. I've seen it like 5 or 6
Same.
times, 4 times in theaters.
Wow.
I was like, I have to go back. I have to go back. And then of course, in merchandise, I'm
Yeah, I know. You've got
I am
it all.
buried in merchandise, like the soundtrack. Oh, God.
Oh,
Okay, so sitting at number 2
Interesting.
for you.
quick story. Tenchi says Farrell's character was supposed to be another Ken that also left Barbie World and got put in charge as a figurehead on the board of directors. That would have been interesting if that's something that
That'd
they explored.
That would
It
have
would still be weird.
that would have definitely made it a better
Yeah.
movie.
Well, because he
For
would have
sure.
enjoyed, he would have found the patriarchy and enjoyed it and decided to stay.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it would have just added some depth. Alex, it's a
Yeah.
2 for you. What about you, Daniel?
It ranks kind of low on my list. So I'm gonna pass because Alex is gonna
Patriarchy.
yell at me.
Hey,
What am I going to do?
It's okay.
I'm gonna
I'm
use
literally
my
on the other side of the country.
I'm gonna use my Paul Atreides voice on him.
Yeah.
What is it ranked?
What is it ranked?
The voice.
And I go, hold
Right?
on. I'm using
Wait,
like
I'm
the
gonna use
front.
I'll use my feminist voice. Of course you would rank it low. You're a man.
Yeah,
You don't understand.
I'm a queer man. It's different.
It doesn't matter.
I get a
You don't
pass.
have periods.
Not an ally.
I don't know.
Not an ally.
Not an
Not
ally.
an ally.
All right. So what did you rank it, Ben Shapiro?
This is my number 9. This is my my
Okay.
conscious last
Oh.
film on
Yeah.
But I mean, it was still
Hello.
it was still good. Don't get me wrong. Production, the music, costume. I just it was little things with it. Like there's a sequence with like a Chevy, CGI Chevy that looks like a car commercial. It felt a little
Kind of a
product
point.
placey, huh?
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. I've got.
just
thoughts.
little nitpicks
Product
like that.
placey. They're Barbies. Of the whole.
That's what I was
movie's
gonna
a
say.
product
Whole
placement.
movie,
Like-
yeah, sponsored by Mattel.
Yeah.
But no, I mean there was just so many of the little things. It just comes down to like the math of like what I enjoyed, right, as to where it ended up. But it was a solid movie. There was just too much Ryan Gosling for me, which
How could you have too much of that?
That's exact. He is saying, "How
You
know,
dare you!"
horse
Right now.
necklace.
Leave it up. You know what I never noticed? Leave it up. I never noticed his necklace.
Yes.
Horse, yeah.
I've never noticed that. He's got so much going
Yeah.
going on up north.
The lightning headband.
Oh
it's
God,
so bad. It's
it
so,
was
Uh,
it was not great. I was in Austin,
Oh, God.
in Austin, Texas, for like around the Halloween time when all the parties were happening.
Mm.
All of the, I mean, it's right by the University of Texas. All of the college dudes are dressed like that. Every single
How many of
one
them? How many of them do you think
Unironically
didn't
owned-
understand? Yeah, yeah. How many of them were
They
just like,
unironically
"That's so
wearing
cool."
horse necklaces.
I'm gonna-
They're like,
I'll put a blanket
bro.
statement out. Probably all of them. Probably
Bro,
not one of
horses,
them
bro.
understood.
How many of them just didn't get it and just thought it was a cool outfit that he was wearing
Yeah.
in that movie?
yeah.
Yeah. They're like, I'm Sting from Dude.
Oh,
What about you, Paul?
Well, I'm glad Daniel went first because this ranks number 8 for me.
Damn.
The
but
patriarchy, man.
Since no one's asked the
Right,
only straight man,
Alex?
the only straight man here. Well, sorry, Alex. I'm
We're
sorry.
tuning now.
That's
I'm
just came out.
somewhere. I'm somewhere. I don't know where I land anymore, but that's okay.
It's a spectrum,
I'll
you
take it.
guys. It's a spectrum.
I'll take it.
Well, of the spectrum of the color spectrum that is in this movie, I mean, I think it
Print in
is
every color.
incredible. Print in every color. Steve said something broken in that family. Oh, it just shows that
I like Laura. Is Alex a joke to you, Paul?
I'm literally a joke.
Why
to
does Paul hate women?
That's like
These are
Alex
all
hating Wonder Woman. But I did love this film. It's just it is up against giants of film that I love as well. I mean, it is also the movie I've watched the most of these as well.
Made by men, starring men. We get it.
Basically,
As it should be.
I want no pink. I don't want to see any pink. That's why I liked Oppenheimer. That's why I liked all these movies. It's droll. It's drab. It looks like London.
Just the way I like it.
Looks like a saltine cracker. That's how I like my movies. But I did like it. I do think this is it is an achievement in like box office and film and what it was accomplished. It's beautiful message, the music, but it just had too many things in it for me that I was just like, it didn't like make the movie. I'm like, oh, I didn't like that. Like it really made me like, that was a bad part of the film with really like the whole Will Ferrell bit. I did not love that at all. Like that whole part could be removed from the movie and it would be substantially better. I also, this is just me being a curmudgeon, but I don't like celebrity cameos for just celebrity cameo's sake. Like I feel like it takes you out of the movie. Like Dua Lipa, John Cena, like that actually ruined parts of the movie for me that I'm like, I want more Alan. Like I want more Ken. Like you could have just saved your, like I get Dua Lipa's in it because her song's in it, like Dance the Night Away. It's a great song.
Do you know the story about John Cena though?
I was going to ask, I was reading it, but I don't know the story of why he was in it. I just know that it was last minute.
He was just like there in the studio because I think they were filming like Fast 9. He's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, we're filming Barbie. He's like, oh, that's cool. They're like, you want to be a mermaid? He's like, yeah. It was literally.
He was already in the mermaid outfit. And they're like,
I mean, I'm already wearing it.
There's like 6 PAs just pick him up and just move him next to Dua Lipa.
Yeah. He was legitimately just like in the studio lot.
He was nearby
for like Fast X, and he's like, hey guys, what's going on? Hey, we're doing Barbie. Hey, I'll be in Barbie. All right, come be in Barbie. Like it's the whole story.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
His agent's like, I'm sorry, you did what now? What'd you do today?
Yeah. Hey John, we're gonna need you to run this stuff by us, pal. Please, just give us a heads up next time. As all of the agents are like SpongeBob when he can't remember his name. He's like, my name.
Yes.
Tenchi says.
But I will say,
you couldn't see John Cena.
It's not, this movie's not going to win Best Picture. It's going to win a ton of technical awards.
Yeah,
it's going to win one of the best songs. If it doesn't, I think
it has to.
Like everyone's talking about like Best Picture and actor and actress in the leading role and the upsets there. If this doesn't win for Best Song somewhere, like that is the biggest upset because there's nothing even close. But I do think this is the most important film of the year. Like I think it was the film that while I didn't love the most, it is the most important film that when I remember watching it. I've seen this 3 times. I watched it the first time I saw it in theaters. Just seeing like people understand references and get jokes that went over my head, and they were just like hooting and hollering, pardon my language. Yeah. And I just found like that to be so endearing that like there's just stuff that there's this movie like made by women for women that has this incredible message that Autumn, you say it beautifully all the time, that the patriarchy hurts everyone.
It's not even for women. It's for everyone.
Right.
Everyone understand it.
But the way that it was marketed is like by women, for women.
Yeah.
And then when they got people in seats, it's like, oh, it's bigger than that.
I mean, to be honest, and I know this is gonna upset some people, but I think the message was more beneficial to men than it was to women. I think it has more impact on men than it does to women because women were like, yeah, duh. I mean, I think they more felt like I feel seen and I feel validated, but they didn't see anything they didn't already know. Whereas there was a lot of value there to men that's beneficial and healing and helpful and wonderful, and not like in a condescending way, like see what you do and what harm it causes. It's not that. It's like you have value outside of being this masculine man of
Right.
being this dominating person. You have value just existing as a person. And that I think was a beautiful message that got lost on Ben Shapiro.
It really
And
did.
so
Yeah.
many people.
And
Yes.
so many people,
It was
they
very
took
upsetting.
it as
There,
like a man-hating thing, and it wasn't.
we have a couple more movies, so we'll move on. But there was
Okay.
one story that I remember reading, and it was just like the perfect encapsulation of why this movie is important. Like to Autumn and Alex and Daniel's point, is that this man was saying like America Ferrera gave this speech about how women can't do anything and they're too much of this, not enough of this. Well, I talked to my wife and daughters about it, and they like agreed with some of it, but they thought the whole thing was wrong, and they're just like, but you talked to them about it.
Yeah, you talked at them about it.
And they're like, that's what the movie is for. That's what it was there for.
My older brother hated it for the same thing. He said the same reason. The speech, I didn't get the speech. I was like, yeah, but the point of the speech is like, anyways, we're going to keep going back to this because
you could hear the whistle across the nation as it passed over everybody's heads. Anyway, let's go.
Well, that was number 4. Again, at 8 nominations. Number 3 at 10 nominations is Killers of the Flower Moon, coming out on it came out in theaters and on Apple Plus October 20th, 2023, directed by Martin Scorsese, written by Eric Roth, Martin Scorsese, and David Gran, starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Ernest Burkhart, Robert De Niro as William Hale, Lily Gladstone as Molly Burkhart, and Jesse Plemons as Tom White. It is nominated for quite a few awards. Best Picture, Best Original Score, Best Original Song. That's what we had mentioned, the Wawaze, the Song for My People. Best Achievement in Directing, Best Performance by a Leading Actress, Lily Gladstone, Best Performance by an Actor in Supporting Role, Robert De Niro. Best Achievement in Cinematography, Achievement in Film Editing, Best Achievement in Production Design, and Best Achievement in Costume Design. It is at 89 out of 100 on Metacritic. Autumn, what is it on Rotten Tomatoes?
On Rotten Tomatoes, it is number 6 at 93%.
Number 6 at 93. Wow.
Another
something at 93. That's number 6. This was I'll get into it at the very end of this about what I think about this year in general.
There's a bunch of the movies all sat at 93% together.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you are interested in what this was adapted from, because it is nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, it was a David Gran book called Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders, and the Birth of the FBI. So, Autumn, we'll start with you. Did you get a chance to watch this one?
I put it at the bottom because I only got to see a few minutes of a review, and it seems great and all. Based on the review and the trailer, I'm like, didn't we already see this with the another movie that he made? I think The Descendants. Not necessarily this particular story, but the structure in which they told the story, it felt very familiar.
Oh, I understand.
So I felt like I've kind of seen this already, like with the false father figure and the young naive. And I'm like, I saw this already. So I'm not going to necessarily go watch it unless you guys tell me it's amazing.
Yeah,
so
number
it's
10.
number 10 for me.
Alex?
So this is the only one I didn't finish. That wedding scene is as far as I got.
Okay.
It was a lot, and it's such a big movie. And like some of these movies, I told you, I watched them when I'm like
3.5 hours.
It's 3.5 hours. There was a lot to take in. So I didn't get to finish it. What I did see, I was enjoying. I do love that Leo got snubbed yet again for Best Oscar. Always makes me happy that he's gonna console himself now with like a 24-year-old girlfriend. But I put it at 9 just because I didn't see it. Pest Lodge is still outside waiting to
we know. Okay, what about you, Daniel?
So a movie you didn't see is above one you did. Got it.
Actually,
Daniel,
brutal.
Daniel, sorry, go ahead.
The toilet cleaner is higher on my list right now.
I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna punch you in the throat. Daniel, what did you think of Killers of the Flower Moon?
I thought it was good.
Alex,
so long.
Just kidding.
It was so long.
It is a long movie. Yeah.
It dragged. This was my number 6. This was my almost middle of the road, right?
Okay.
Great performances. Lily Gladstone killed it. She was so good.
I love her face.
Yeah.
Her facial expressions
on screen. I couldn't look away.
My color.
Oh, she's so good.
That is a. So for me, this ranks at 7. This is just beneath Barbie, which feels like a weird sentence to say. But a super, super long movie that is really, I read there's this GQ article with Martin Scorsese talking about this film. And his interview is long. Like his interview took me like 2 hours to read, and he is talking about the film, and he's like, I didn't leave anything on the cutting floor, and I'm like, no kidding.
Clearly,
it's 3.5 hours, and it is a movie that only Martin Scorsese could make at this point. You know, maybe
Mr. Richardion said it was his favorite, and he hopes he wins.
Favorite, okay,
yeah.
And I want to watch it. I will finish it. I promise. It's just that we had a deadline, and I was like, I am not going to meet that.
Yeah. It's one of those movies. I would put it like, you know, within the context of our show, like Zone of Interest. It's very heavy. It's a very long time to sit with heavy.
And I'm going to cry.
Content. I cried.
Did you watch this one twice?
I did.
Paul? You did. So 7 hours of this movie. Okay.
7 hours of
continue
of whatever the hell accent DiCaprio's doing.
He's What is he? What is he doing?
You know, I do like his performance in this. I think a lot of people didn't, but I mean, clearly he wasn't nominated. It was still great, but it was a little too subtle. It was almost like he was trying to do this like laid back thing of like, I'm almost like not acting, but I'm acting, and it's like we can tell. There's a level of subtlety that like Lily Gladstone has, and she's incredible in this. Like she's fantastic.
Perfect. In what I've seen, just the expressions on her face, where she's just like, you know, she doesn't do nothing intense. She's just like, and you feel like judged, and you feel stupid. And I'm like, I'm a moron because Lily Gladstone just gave me this look. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel.
It is going to be a very interesting Oscars. I think there's only one opportunity for Lily Gladstone has been cleaning up all across the award season. But there is one person that is left to contend with her in best actress in a leading role, and that would be the lead actress in our second film that has 11 nominations. That would be Poor Things, which came out February 27th, 2024, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, written by Tony McNamara and Alistair Gray, I think his name is. And it's starring Emma Stone as Bella Baxter, Willem Dafoe as Godwin Baxter, Mark Ruffalo as Duncan Wedderburn, and Rama Youssef as Max McCandles. It is nominated for Best Picture, Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Achievement in Music written for Motion Pictures, Best Achievement in Directing, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Emma Stone, Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role, Mark Ruffalo, Best Adapted Screenplay, Tony McNamara, Best Achievement in Cinematography, Best Achievement in Film Editing, Best Achievement in Production Design, Best Achievement in Costume Design by Holly Waddington. It is sitting at 87 out of 100 on Metacritic. Autumn, what is it on Rotten Tomatoes?
Number 8 at 92%. So still getting 92%. Yeah. It's,
I just saw a comment that Autumn's not going to like because
it is.
I'm guessing, by the way, that this is Autumn's number one.
Well, so before that, it was adapted from which I didn't know this actually. It was adapted from a 1992 novel titled Poor Things, Episodes from the Early Life of Archibald McCandles, MD, by the postmodern writer Alistair Gray. It's like a short story that was adapted. Let's start with you, Alex. Let's keep some suspense. Where did this? Okay. How did you feel about this movie? Where does it rank?
I just like guessing with Autumn, but for me it was number 3.
Okay.
For me it was number 3. I absolutely loved all the acting except here's me coming out. I'm coming clean, everyone. I almost never like Mark Ruffalo in anything. Like in anything. Fair. I am not a fan of Mark Ruffalo. Hot take. Yeah, I did though enjoy him in this because his really, to me, awful acting like played perfectly for his character. He's like I was like, yeah, that's what he sounds like in everything. Making these weird noises and accents. That's what he sounds like in Bella. He's like, I'm going to go to the casino. Like his terrible overacting. That's how I see him in everything. So for this, it worked. She was brilliant. Willem Dafoe off the chain as always. Amazing. You want me lobster? Why'd you spill your beans? Like I just kept thinking all the lines. Why'd you spill your beans? But I loved everything about it. I loved all the weird special effects, how strange it was, costume design, all these awards. I think most of them it has in the bag, or it should. Not now. Again, best actress. It's going to be tough.
That is where the upset people are predicting may come in.
Steve Nora, I am something of a best actor myself.
That's one of the snubs. He's not nominated for anything for this movie.
Yeah,
That's
and it,
Truly a shame.
and yet Mark Ruffalo is like I would have put
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe. For
I agree with
best,
that. Yeah,
right?
I agree.
100%. But everything else.
Okay,
Anyway,
so
for me, it's
number
number 3.
Number 3. Okay, Autumn. Daniel, who wants to go first? I feel like you guys might be on opposite ends of the spectrum here.
I think so.
I was watching this and it was so upsetting how they were making the audience complicit in this fetishizing of this woman baby and objectifying her, and it was so violent and disgusting and disturbing, and just like the concept of what had happened was so disgusting. I was like ready to turn it off. And by the end of the film, it was my number 1. Because
knew it.
Holy, I've
Go ahead.
never
You can use your
had
bad word.
Holy fuck. I have never had such a completely 180 experience in one film. I really, truly hated it at the beginning. I had to keep covering parts of it because covering the screen with my hands because some parts were so disturbing to watch and so upsetting.
Yeah.
And the transformation, bringing me along on this and just making me it was so joyful and so wonderful and so deep and amazing, and that had so many layers of incredible things. And to me, this is Barbie movie. I'm sorry, it's the dark twisted side.
It's the dark Barbie
movie. Like if you took, it's almost like the sequel to Barbie, to be honest. You take this woman out of this innocence, of this naivete, and put her in this world, and she has to grow and learn and finding out what life is, quote unquote, really like, and the consequences and her choices, and all of these men trying to control and own her. But she never takes this like, oh, I'm liberated and I'm free. It's like she was never trapped. Even though they trapped her, she was never trapped. And there was never anybody that saved her. There was never any woman power moment where she came out and she's like, no, I'm free. Like, there was nothing trite about it. And it was so beautiful. And I just can't wait to watch it again. And the visuals were outstanding. Didn't need them. The story would have held without it, but it made it even better. And like, it was
some guy was complaining about the boat. In my
the
guy was wanting.
It was all fantastical. Like, did he not talk about the people carriers that were going?
Yeah, like this hyper realism that existed in this world, and it was consistent throughout. Like,
it was like a Michael Parks painting. Have you guys ever seen the artist Michael Parks from the 90s? He was really big, and he had these fantastic
He's in Parks and Rec,
worlds.
Right? He was in Parks and Rec.
No, and,
wasn't that named after him?
I think that Mark Ruffalo was my favorite part of this film. His journey from this Lothario to this absolute psychotic stalker is amazing. And his little comment about I should have warned you, if it's not too late already, don't fall in love with me. His journey. She destroyed him without ever lifting a finger, without ever being anything
without wanting to.
She was. Yeah, she didn't care whether she destroyed him or not, and she did. It didn't matter to her. It wasn't vengeance. It was.
She didn't do it out of. Yeah, no. She didn't do it out of malice.
He did that to himself. That was the whole point. Is all these men did all these things to themselves.
Exactly.
And she never did anything to anyone except do her. She was consistent the whole way through, and it was amazing. I loved it. I could go on and on. I'm going to stop.
And I'm so glad you liked it, because seeing it turn from like, I was like, oh, this is weird and funny and like disturbingly funny and weird and gross, but then like you said, turning into like Barbie's darkest timeline.
Yes. Laura says, forget Barbenheimer. I want to do a Barbie Poor Things double feature. 100% Barbie, then Poor Things. Yes.
Porby. Porby. Daniel.
Things. Porby.
Okay. Daniel, what did you think of this movie?
Same with Autumn. I hated it up until she started like speaking in complete sentences, truthfully. So it's a good maybe like half of the movie. I was like, what is this shit? Pardon.
You get one.
I laughed so much.
That's what was like playing through my mind the whole time. It's like, what is this? I really dislike Yorgos Lanthimos and his cinematographer style. All the wide angle lens shots, completely superfluous. I could not use. You could take all of those out, and I feel like it wouldn't affect the movie.
No, I disagree completely, because it made you a voyeur and it made you complicit. Like
Okay.
you're watching
Yeah,
it
that
through a
is true.
lens. So it's like you're
Mm.
spying on it. And I thought it was just, it made me feel more disgusted than it already
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Very
So
like
anyway,
fly on the
continue.
wall.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
like no, it's like a peephole. It's not like you're a fly on the wall and you happen to be there. It's like you're
Peephole's
purposely
great.
watching. You're
Yeah.
peeping and spying, and it makes you
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
I think someone had
for
compared it
watching.
to you are haunting this film.
Yeah.
And you know, you
You're
are like
choosing
floating
to be there.
and
Yeah.
you are there. Like, yeah, you have chosen, you've made this decision, you chose to be there, but you are being pulled along whether you like it or not.
Mhm.
And it is
You're
a
doing it
very
in a creepy way. It makes the
Yeah.
audience.
Daniel.
Oh, wait, Daniel, where? Yeah, thank you, Alex. Where?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
where did you
No,
rate
but
these?
we're exciting.
This was my number 5.
Oh, cool.
5.
Pretty
Okay.
middle of the road because, like, halfway through the movie, like, it really did kind of turn around. And once I got it over,
Oh my
like, Willem Dafoe's face was
Godwin?
fun
Yeah.
to look at, but I really did enjoy like the production design. The costumes were incredible. That hyper realism was really fun to watch.
Mhm.
Love the set.
It was very fantastical, very whimsical.
Mhm.
It was a nice watch. But yeah,
And
Yeah,
I'm
by the
with
end-
you, by the way. I'm 50-50 on Yorgos. Like Poor Things and The Favorite, loved it. Like they both
Yeah.
mess with, but then The Lobster and Killing of the Sacred Deer, I'd rather die than watch those ever again.
Oh, I love all 4. Oh, they're so
Yeah.
good.
You got to remember that what's his name's in The Killing of the Sacred
I
Deer.
know you don't like Barry Kagan. Yes.
Yeah, I can't.
No,
I can't.
from Saltburn.
That was the movie that ruined him for him. That's
Yeah.
the first one. I was like, oh God, who is this guy? Tell him to stop with the mouth. Cover your mouth when you talk.
For if you aren't familiar with Yorgos Lanthimos and his work, just think like Wes Anderson, like how Wes Anderson has a very particular style that like you either like or you do not like. It doesn't matter how beautiful the story is. Like I know people that have said like Asteroid City, for instance, another huge snub, was a huge movie this year. I loved that movie. 0 nominations at the Oscars. Because I just think people are like kind of tired of the Wes Anderson shtick, I love it. I always like Wes Anderson, but I like everything. So I'm not the target demo, but Yorgos Lanthimos is very similar. So yeah, we've got a lot of opinions on the show. For me, this was it. This was number 4 for me. Probably depending on like my mood, because I have holdovers at number 3. I could alternate those 2 all day. Poor Things was incredible. I watched it. I don't know if I told this story, but I watched this in theaters. Surprise, surprise. And then I was just sitting there and I watched 2 different sets of couples get up and leave from this movie.
Oh,
because
in
if
the
you are
beginning half,
or in the first 30 minutes, and then
yeah.
at like an hour 10 in,
Okay.
because this movie is vulgar. Its treatment of its characters is not nice. There aren't really a lot of people that you're rooting for, really, because it's a very confusing take on femininity and excess and high strangeness in general. And it is a movie that like I was, soon as like the first frames, I was like, I'm in. Like I like Yorgos Lanthimos. I thought it was great. Emma Stone being nominated for Best Actress in a leading role. I think that might be our upset, our huge upset of the night. Maybe not, but Lily Gladstone, everyone said, just kind of got it in the bag. But
I still have a bad joke to go with it.
Oh no, go ahead.
Gladstone and Emma Stone. So like this category's really got the stones.
Don't throw throw stones in a crass house.
Yeah.
I didn't notice they were both stones. On this show, then we like Lily Gladstone, we like Emma Stone. Are we stoners?
We're stoners.
Yeah, we're stoners.
Nice.
Yeah.
All the bad
everyone.
Coming through.
Feeling good. But Poor Things, again, sitting at number 2, it has 11 nominations. It is a very, very, very divisive movie, but I think, and then we'll move on, a career-defining movie for Emma Stone. Like she's already a huge actor.
100%.
She's this person that is going to be in our like upper echelon. She will be some people's like Julia Roberts. She'll be some people's epitome of an actress, and like we're just seeing in real time. See her going from Superbad to Poor Things. Like that whole timeline is amazing.
Steve thinks Emma Stone rocked since he first saw her in Superbad. Rocked.
Nice. I just like to ignore the Zombieland movies. I just wish she didn't do those.
Oh God.
Oh, those are unusual. Yes.
I wish no
yeah.
one did those movies. So
All right. That brings us to our number one movie with 13 nominations. Surprising no one. It is Oppenheimer, released July 21st, 2023. If you somehow live under another stone, it came out the same day as Barbie, hence Barbenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan, written by Christopher Nolan, Kai Bird, and Martin Sherwin. Kai Bird and Martin Sherwin wrote the book American Prometheus that this was adapted from, starring Cillian Murphy as J. Robert Oppenheimer, Matt Damon as Leslie Groves, Emily Blunt as Kitty Oppenheimer, and Robert Downey Jr. as Louis Strauss. It is nominated for pretty much everything under the sun, including Best Motion Picture, Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Original Score, Best Sound, Achievement in Directing, Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role, Cillian Murphy, Actress in a Supporting Role, Emily Blunt, Actor in a Supporting Role, Robert Downey Jr., Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Achievement in Cinematography, Achievement in Film Editing, Best Achievement in Production Design, and Best Achievement in Costume Design. It's got a 90 out of 100 on Metacritic. Autumn, where is this on Rotten Tomatoes?
On Rotten Tomatoes, it is number 5 with 93. However, I do have to say that American Fiction, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Zone of Interest all got 93. And I have a feeling it's number 5 because it would be like a percentage of a point different.
Yeah. All right. So who wants to kick us off here on the number one most nominated?
Why don't you kick us off?
Okay. You want me? I can go. Okay.
Yeah,
you never go.
This is my number one film. I have seen this movie 3 times, so just short of Barbie. I think it's going to clean up. I don't think it's going to win all 13 awards. It'll probably get 9, maybe. Maybe score, it loses. But I thought
the score's brilliant.
Yeah, I know, but I think like it'll get tossed somewhere else. Maybe not. Anyways, I thought from the storytelling to the technicalities of this film,
The bouncers
it was great.
him.
I thought the entirety of the film was cohesive, which is something that Nolan definitely struggles with. He has these beautiful films, like he's got Hoyte van Hoytema in it, who's an achievement in cinematography. I mean, I could think, there is. Dude's a freaking legend. You know,
Only
Nolan
shoulder an IMAX camera.
Nolan told an incredibly difficult story, and he got it done in 2.5 hours or so. And there are moments in this movie that I literally was like jaw on the floor. Even like I watched it today again. Like that's what was playing when I was working. And even on my screen, hearing the things that, the dialogue that was written, it was incredible. Again, it's my number one film. I do think if you're tuning into the Oscars this year, you're going to get a little bored because I do think it's going to be a lot of Oppenheimer, a lot of Nolan up there, a lot of Cillian Murphy, just warning you. But yeah, so clearly I'm a fan. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. This was number 5 for me. And I do have to say, I really did enjoy his portrayal. And I loved all of the science involved. I loved that whole, it reminds me of like Apollo 13 when all the scientists have to really push
Weird
to make
science.
this thing happen. Same thing. Hidden Figures, the same thing. Where like this, I love a show. I love a movie where brains get together and make things amazing happen. I think that's great. I think I was too dumb to keep up with the politics of it because I was losing track of who's who and why I care. I'm like, I honestly don't care if the bomb accidentally goes off and kills everyone right now. Like, I don't know who all these people are. I don't care. I just think it just wasn't my thing. By the end of it, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But there were parts of it that were the politics were so tedious for me. And I did not appreciate, as the opposite of Barbie that came out that day, that the women were there just to decorate his story. They did not have personalities of their own other than the crazy, what do they call it? Manic pixie dream girl. And
Are you talking
wife.
smack?
Florence Pugh?
Are you talking smack about?
No, I love her.
Now?
I love her,
Who's
and
that?
she acted the crap out of that, but she was not given anything to do other than be a manic pixie dream girl. And I think that I can't understand why what's her name got best actress.
Emily Blunt as Kitty Oppenheimer.
Emily Blunt, because she'd had some character and persona of her own, but it was mostly to serve him. It was mostly to serve him and his story and his whole life. So like, she was fine, but I felt the women were very superfluous and underserved. You could have taken them out and the story would have been fine. So I didn't appreciate that because apparently they're both really fascinating, amazing people, but there was no room in the story for them. So either take them out or flesh them out, but don't make them accessories. So I didn't like that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But
And in American Prometheus, they also get very little to do in the book that was written. And again, it isn't adapted. Like I think Nolan's skirting around that issue is like, well, I adapted it from this book. I didn't write them this way.
Yeah. So maybe
and I agree. Maybe
push forward.
But they have to be. The thing is, where I agree with you on, where like they still have to be in it because they did play a part that was important to him psychologically, and it is his movie. But I do agree where it's like they could have found some more reason to broaden them. I don't think they should have cut them out. There's no way to cut them out because they were part of what affected them psychologically.
So maybe do your own freaking research, Nolan, and get some more information about these women. If you're going to use them, then make them real people.
And to be fair,
he could have extended the movie. I think, like, it was a long movie.
I don't know. It is a long movie.
It is a long movie, but it's no Killers of the Flower Moon long. I think he could have given it a little bit more length to flesh them out a little bit because Autumn, while I agree with you like so much, in that time frame to cover how much they had to cover, there was only so much they could do, and it sucks. And it 100% sucks.
You can do it in the writing. You can do it in the same amount of time. All the time they showed him having sex with his manic pixie dream girl could have been spent on fleshing out her character. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, now you're affecting some things that made it my number one movie.
Go get yourself an OnlyFans account.
Apparently, I'm not the only straight man on the show.
But I it was my number one. The history of it, like I'm fascinated with this period of time and how it was like one of the darkest periods of science. Like it was one of the darkest things that we've ever done with science up until that point.
As humans in general,
as humans in general, that is like the darkest moment, and just sort of like this penance for having to sit through and watch it and suffer it and feel the anxiety of it all. I feel like that's part of the penance as like an American citizen and a person who loves science and like all this stuff that I have, even though I'm a child of immigrants, right? I had nothing to do with the creation of this bomb, but I feel like I have to like take some of that onto myself. And that's where like, it's my number one. Plus it was another thing that like, I always like to quote Jon Stewart when like Munich came out. When Munich came out and Steven Spielberg did it, like Jon Stewart's like, it's like he did Schindler's List. Now he's doing Munich. Like, what's going to happen to the Jews next? What is next for us? And like, that's what Oppenheimer was. It was like, what did they all do in this country? Because they were terrified of the Nazi threat. Like, how dark did they get? Because they were so afraid of what was going on the other side of the world. And then it just got worse. But anyways, all of that, all those emotions. And I saw this after Barbie. I didn't think about it first. I saw Barbie and I walked out like everything. Yeah. And it was life sucks.
Yeah, maybe you should have switched the order.
Yeah.
They do take place in the same universe. So
but yeah, it was my number one. I loved it. But I do agree. By the way, Autumn, I don't disagree with any of these. I agree with you, except for the part like cut them out completely. Yes, could they have cut out more of the sex with scenes with Florence Pugh? Yes, but then come on, throw me a bone here.
I'm not arguing to take them out, but what I'm saying is, if you're just gonna make them a prop, don't use them at all. If you want to have them and you want to like show her boobies for a long time, you can also make her a real person.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel,
she was a real person. Sorry, go ahead.
She was.
I'm done.
I'm gonna watch that scene again.
This is my number 4. It felt bloated. It was just like there was too much going on, too many big names. You'd be watching in the middle of a scene and suddenly Rami Malek's here, and these are roles that could have absolutely been played by a small name actor. Wouldn't have been like as jarring. I felt like the pacing was way too fast. It was like like Alex said, there was so much to tell that, you can only do it in a certain way. And I feel like the way they did approach it did work for the film, but, on a technical basis, like the film is gorgeous, right? Shooting in IMAX, you can never go wrong, especially with like Hoyt van Hoytema. Like I feel like they've got cinematography in the bag.
Absolutely. Yeah, that one's gonna win. Yeah, I to be fair to this movie and hold it to the same standard that like the reason I didn't like Barbie is yeah, like the random, like people that are in it, like Casey Affleck's in it, who I love everything he's ever done. And for him to be in this for just a second, like he's imposing, he's great. But it's like, come on, like this could have went to someone else. And this is just a movie about Oppenheimer. But I always view that also, like when it's done right, it's like a visual highlighter. Like, hey, we want you to pay attention to this part of the movie because this important person is in this scene.
Rami did not do that.
But
yeah, 2 seconds, right? Like, I think it's just, I mean, you also have to remember, in the context of these people are actors making a movie, they just wanted to work with Christopher Nolan.
Absolutely.
Like at the end of the day, they just want to work with Christopher Nolan. I think
like John Cena and Barbie, he just wanted to be in it.
Yeah. And at some point, like you're like, these are movies that are made for entertainment and for the culture, and that is exactly what that movie accomplished. I think is the probably the most complete film for me personally throughout all of these, but I will say that it would not have made all the money it made, and it would not have got all the fanfare it did if it did not open with Barbie. So good on Nolan for not backing down from his studio, who just like, we do not want to release it at the same time as Barbie. And he's like, no, do it. I'm not worried. He's like, they're totally different audiences. And it ended up being what it was. So it's so that is our that is our Oscar movies. We're getting better, everyone, about updating the blog and getting what you guys see here in written form. We are doing it very slowly, but it's going. We will have all of our rankings up on there. We'll have these 10 films and some of this information there as well. But yeah, those are that was our, I should say, Oscars 2024 show. Very, very excited. I think this is this is going to be an interesting one. I just like them in general, so I really wanted to do this show. I know this show went real long. This is we are halfway through Killers of the Flower Moon. I just want you to think about that with this show. Thank you guys so much. This is always really, really fun to do. Be on the lookout for this episode, sort of chopped up and easily digestible. If you missed it, hello, welcome. If you're watching this in the future, when Autumn has become president, Alex and Daniel are still fighting about movies. And I'm just watching Past Lives again just to piss off Alex. We hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you. All right, well, that's it for the main portion, but we do have something that we want to talk about. We have a new, with
series,
doing, content. A lot of, we can't do everything live. There's just, we don't have enough bandwidth. Everyone here has other entirely separate jobs. So we will be doing some pre-recorded content and some pre-recorded projects and series. And our first one is called the Oscars Almanac: History of the Academy Awards. It will be pre-recorded, and the purpose of it is, we have a show description. It is to step into the glitzy world of cinema with the Oscars Almanac: History of the Academy Awards. We'll explore the landscape that surrounded Hollywood's Best Picture winners from 1929 until this year's, as we examine the culture, fandom, and film through the lens of the iconic Oscar Best Picture films. So our first one, what do we want to announce on them? Like when we're gonna drop the first one?
First, I want to say, we have our tagline too. Say our tagline, Paul.
Oh, okay. Our tagline: where every Oscar tells a story.
Wait, can I interject here? The landscape that surrounded Hollywood is just desert.
Yeah.
So
So desert can seem like there's not a lot going on, but if you really explore it, you'll find out it's actually a rich tapestry.
Yes,
it's an incredible ecosystem.
Yes, and so what we're going to be doing is focusing not so much on the movie itself, but what was happening in the culture at that time. What was happening in music and in trending ideas, and who were the big were the big players at that time, and why did that film win? What were the conversations happening around it? So we're really more interested in discussing what was happening around all of those Best Picture films, and I'm very excited to talk about it. What movies were they nominated against? All of that. So I'm super excited. We are going to drop our first episode on Tuesday, and every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And you guys can take a look at that. We're hoping to see you in the comments. We will be live in the comments whenever we can to interact with you guys. But the first film is going to be from 1929. It's actually 1928 and 1929 because they did like a 2-year thing in the very beginning. If you want to give them the title description. Go ahead.
Yes. So the first movie is Wings. Actually came out in 1927, but the Academy existed, but the Academy Awards did not exist until 1929, like what Autumn was getting at. So it is described as 2 young men, one rich, one middle class, who are both in love with the same woman, become fighter pilots in World War One.
They shoot at each other?
I don't know. You know what's great?
I don't know either.
Until like the early 90s, I don't know a lot of these movies. Like, you've got like Taxi Driver and some of these big films, but once you really start getting into from like 29 to 60, which is 40 years of Oscar history, like it is some of the most crucial, some of the most interesting. I'm reading 2 books about it. Well, listening to one audiobook and reading another one. It is just an incredible time that, know, if you're watching this and you're yelling at your screen, Paul, Autumn, Alex, and Daniel, how does this relate to Fandom Social and Fandom? This is the birthplace of fandom in general, and and the Hollywood machine that pumps out all of these movies and all these dumb Ghostbuster movies, all of this stuff that is, I just wanted people to know how I feel about Ghostbusters still. That is so prevalent to us, started back in 1929. It's not just about the Oscars, like Autumn was saying. It's about looking at the film that won and, starting, that's the starting point. Like, why did it win? Who were the most important players? What was it up against? What was the culture surrounding it? And it's always just been like a palm greasing competition, and it's going to be fun to explore that through the series. And we're going to do every single year. That is 97 weeks of content. I think we did the math.
Hope it's the royal way.
It's
gonna take us a hot minute.
It's gonna
take us almost 2 years.
We should be done September 2025 if all goes well.
And the things I'm excited about, first of all, is I have watched quite a few movies, I would say, from like the late 30s on. I really do love that whole period of time, 30s, 40s, 50s. This one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the last silent film to be involved in the Oscars. So this is a silent film.
And we're going to do the whole show silently.
Yes, and we're just going to hold up cards with words on it to talk about the film. So we've got some other series in the works that we will be unveiling over time, but this is going to be our first one out, other than the fantastic movie reviews that Paul and Alex have been doing. Those have been fantastic. So, watch out for some more great content and some more cool announcements and partnerships and interviews and all kinds of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, and again, it is not all movies. That's just kind of the way that the cookie has crumbled as of late. Next week, we've got a pop culture news and headlines episode. And then after that, we are doing a fandom, like a fandom focus deep dive type of episode that is solely focused on the Whedon fandom, which Autumn has a couple things to say about. I am doing my damnedest
to... The rise and fall of the Whedon fandom.
Yes, the rise, reign, and fall of the Whedon fandom, because it is... prolific. It is incredibly interesting. I'm just going to say right now, there will be opinion shared on Joss Whedon being a controversial character in general. We're not advocating for or against. Well, I'm against. I don't know. I don't really know anything.
I'm going to have some opinions.
Okay, but the fandom as a whole, because his fandoms still exist. They are still very prominent. People are still very active in all of the content that he's created across all platforms. So we are very excited to discuss that. We're going to talk to some of the people in those fandoms and discuss why are they still fans, what brought them into it, and then our own lens through this. And we'll bring on Alex and Daniel whenever they choose to engage in this crazy schedule that me and Autumn have put together. We have a lot going on, and again, when we can announce it, we've got someone who has taken an interest and wants to work with us for some reason, but can't
Jump
announce
on
that.
board the train.
Alex, you're going to play Crazy Train out of here. But with that, everyone, thank you so much. We've got another episode next Thursday. That light is bright. The 14th, again, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, against the Pop Culture News and Headlines, where we'll be doing a fun content potluck. And Alex, maybe we could even do our the other thing we were talking about, guess the comment, or we're going to have a comment that we find throughout the internet that is just ridiculous, and see if you guys can guess what the comment is attached. What is it attached to? You probably can't, because the internet is horrible.
Except for right here and you guys.
Except for right here and you guys. You were all wonderful. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and joining. This is a long one, which we kind of anticipated. Be on the lookout. Follow us everywhere: Instagram, TikTok. We are on TikTok now. Autumn has been doing a great job of keeping all of our social channels prominent. If you guys have not, go to fandomsocial.com, subscribe to our newsletter. Anytime we post a blog or any information, it goes live there. Autumn, anything else I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing a lot. And I'm going.
You got it all.
Okay. So
you should hydrate, Paul.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Product placement.
Alex, really good at beach. So with all that, everyone, thank you so much. We hope you watch the Oscars. You guys come back. Let us know. I'm curious, on Sunday or Monday, if you guys watch the Oscars, come back to this episode and let us know if we guessed any of the stuff right, or if you watched any of these movies, how wrong. Them, not me.
Or say I told you so and laugh at our predictions.
Exactly. So with that, everyone, thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. Like what you love what you like, and I don't know what you heard about me.
About it.
But you can't get $1 out of me.